Hi guys, welcome to ANIMEized. This is the English translated version of the novel throneofseal. The novel differs slightly from the Chinese animation or donghua. If you want more of these videos, please smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Enjoy and have a blessed day.
Long HaoChen smiled bitterly. Then it's better for you to change back to your original size. If there's a situation where you really need to use your full power, you can change size then. YaTing's evolution has even given her the ability to communicate directly with humans. Alright. YaTing nodded somewhat reluctantly, to the disappointed gazes of the men around her, and her halo diminished. Soon, she reverted back to her smaller form, and she became very small, only about a foot tall, and she floated down to sit on Long HaoChen's shoulder. Even though she had become smaller, sitting on Long HaoChen's shoulder still felt a bit awkward to him, but he had just selfishly asked YaTing to do something she didn't want to do. So he didn't want to ask for more. He turned back and looked at the green mist, his expression becoming tense as he murmured, "Only Cai Er is left now." Yes, up to this point, everyone except Cai Er had come out. The conditions of Sima Xian and Chin Er were unknown due to their severe injuries, so their situations couldn't be assessed for the time being. It wasn't ruled out that the spirit furnace fusion might have failed. YaTing wasn't idle either, sitting on Long HaoChen's shoulder. She cast healing spells one by one, and they landed on Sima Xian and Chin Er. In terms of healing ability, she was much more reliable than Han Yu and Zhang Fang. Being able to cast magic on others meant that the commander level number 21 demon hunting squad would no longer lack a priest in the future. Time passed by minute, and Long HaoChen's expression became increasingly anxious. His fists unconsciously clenched, and he kept praying in his heart, "Cai Er, please be safe and successful." He was already starting to regretting adding another spirit furnace for Cai Er. If he had only fused the reincarnation spirit furnace and the thousand strikes spirit furnace, perhaps it would have been easier for her. Just when Long HaoChen was extremely anxious, suddenly, a sweet voice echoed in his mind. "You big fool, are you in a hurry? Serves you right. I'll take you to her. She's too weak to come out. She needs you to bring her out." This was Yisiole's voice, and Long HaoChen's heart leaped with joy. He quickly nodded. Green light flashed, enveloping his body once again, and the next moment, Long HaoChen had disappeared into the green light. Surprisingly, YaTing was pushed back by the green light, and she wasn't able to enter with Long HaoChen. When his vision became clear again, he realized that he was back in the blue-green pool where he had fused with the spirit furnace before. The pool here is not actually water, but pure life energy. Anyone soaking in it would feel very comfortable at any time. According to what Yisiale said, this is certainly not the place he was in before, but the location where Cai Er is performing the spirit furnace synthesis. But where is Cai Er? Where is Cai Er? Although Long HaoChen was a bit anxious, he remained relatively calm, not blindly searching. He closed his eyes slowly, using his strong spiritual power to expand his perception, searching for Cai Er's whereabouts. This emerald green space seemed endless, but Long HaoChen's spiritual power quickly sensed its actual boundaries, and then, a faint trace of life appeared in his perception. Without hesitation, he opened his eyes, and guided by his perception, quickly arrived at the source of the life force. It was Cai Er, approaching her. Long HaoChen immediately saw Cai Er. At this moment, her body was completely immersed in the blue-green liquid, with only her face above the surface, her pale face looking frightening. If not for the faint trace of life, she might have seemed like a floating corpse. "Cai Er!" Long HaoChen exclaimed in distress, hurriedly reaching out to her, embracing her in his arms. This embrace, however, left him stunned immediately. His hands touched soft and tender skin. Even through the blue-green liquid, he could clearly feel the silky and tender texture, with graceful curves and alluring contours, and upon contact, Long HaoChen felt an electrifying sensation. Although Long HaoChen and Cai Er had been together for a while, they were still quite young, and they were naive about matters between men and women. Furthermore, Long HaoChen was afraid of hurting her, so he had always been very reserved. At most, they had kissed and hugged. They had never truly touched each other's skin before. At this moment, even though he hadn't lifted Cai Er out of the water, he could still feel that she was completely naked. This naked encounter was a first for them. However, Long HaoChen's stunned state lasted only a brief moment. Although he felt a strong sense of awkwardness and embarrassment, but Cai Er's safety was the most important thing in his heart. He suddenly bit his tongue hard, and the pain in his tongue brought him back to his senses, and he regained some clarity of mind, slowly injecting his gentle light elemental power into Cai Er's body. He injected his power slowly, fearing to harm Cai Er's body. But as his power seeped into Cai Er's body, he could also sense some of Cai Er's physical condition through the connection of their powers. Cai Er's physical condition was quite bad, with many shocking injuries to her meridians, and even a few major meridians were completely severed, only being held together by a strange, faint green life force. Describing Cai Er's current state as hanging by a thread was not an exaggeration. and if not for the immersion in the blue-green pool water, she might have perished in no time. The more he felt Cai Er's danger, the more his heart trembled, but he became even more careful with the power he was channeling. A gentle halo of holy light enveloped them, covering both him and Cai Er. Long HaoChen was capable of more powerful healing magic, but he didn't dare to use them because Cai Er's condition was too fragile, and he was afraid that using high-energy spells would be counterproductive. So, he cautiously repaired her body bit by bit. It was crucial to take it slow, or it could have adverse effects. After an unknown amount of time passed, he gradually managed to repair all the damaged meridians in Cai Er's body, although he couldn't claim to have completely cured her. But at least he ensured that every meridian was connected. He silently thanked Yi Xiaolei. Although Cai Er's meridians were severely damaged, thanks to the care from Dream Paradise. Those damaged meridians had previously been barely held together by a gentle life force, which not only saved Cai Er's life, but also made the healing process much easier for him. The halo of holy light that enveloped Cai Er's body continued to shine, and with the meridians restored, Cai Er's own spiritual power gradually began to recover. With strands of it gradually circulating within her, and the meridians were able to absorb the life force around them and the effects of Long HaoChen's light elemental healing magic, Cai Er's recovery was accelerating. After a while, with a soft moan, Cai Er's delicate body trembled slightly, and she slowly opened her eyes. However, Long HaoChen was once again stunned. Because it was when Cai Er's body trembled like this, the silky sensation on his hand made him involuntarily shiver, and in a moment of carelessness, his right hand unexpectedly slid down from her slender waist, resting on the round, full, and perky curves. His fingers and palm gently sank in. Even though he was inexperienced in this regard, he knew exactly where he had touched, and it happened. Precisely at this moment, Cai Er's beautiful eyes had already opened, and she simultaneously felt the warmth of his large hand. Their eyes met, and both of them were in a daze. "You!" Cai Er's voice trembled slightly. A layer of rosy blush spread across her exquisite face, tracing down her delicate face and slender neck, extending all the way below the water's surface. I. Long HaoChen also didn't know how to explain. Moving his hand away wasn't an option, and leaving it there wasn't either. But the astonishing softness was irresistibly tempting. Cai Er lightly bit her red lips, turned her head away. Her hands wrapped around Long HaoChen's waist, drawing her body even closer to him. But she dared not look at him anymore. She could feel her heart racing, her inner panic intensifying. But aside from the panic and shyness, what filled her heart even more was satisfaction. Cai Er's experiences had filled her inner world with darkness and loneliness. But ever since she met Long HaoChen, her heart had been continuously changing. Every time she faced danger and hardship, her fool was always there by her side. In Long HaoChen's perspective, it was something that should have naturally occurred, but in Cai Er's heart, it was her greatest happiness. Just after experiencing the inhuman agony of the spirit furnace synthesis, waking up from unconsciousness, the first thing she saw was him. The intimate physical contact filled her with shyness, but seeing her beloved man right after the pain, what could be more satisfying than that? So, she didn't blame Long HaoChen at all in her heart, and she fully believed that Long HaoChen was not the kind of person to take advantage of someone in a vulnerable situation. The gentle light elements that had not yet dispersed inside her body fully proved that he had been healing her before. Perhaps he happened to be healing that area. When someone loves another person deeply, even if they make mistakes, they tend to think positively. However, when she turned around, the feeling it gave to Long HaoChen was different. As her hand slid from her hip to the side, Long HaoChen felt his willpower facing a test even more terrifying than the spirit furnace synthesis. His whole body stiffened. Don't forget, he was a young and inexperienced man, and he had developed faster than his peers. He was also much more mature. "Fool, why don't you put on your clothes for me?" Cai Er buried her face in his waist, and said softly, "Oh, okay." Hearing Cai Er's voice, Long HaoChen quickly released one of his own clothes from the eternal melody. He didn't even have time to worry about how to dress her. Cai Er stood up from the water in a swift motion. Her movements were quick, her delicate body gently turned, and Long HaoChen's jacket wrapped tightly around her. However, because it was just a jacket, it naturally revealed her long and slender thighs underneath, although the essential parts were covered. But the more it revealed, the more it had a mysterious allure. Long HaoChen stared at her blankly. His vision was exceptionally sharp, even though he had only caught a glimpse of Cai Er getting dressed earlier. He seemed to have seen everything he should and shouldn't have. He couldn't even move now, fearing that the burning desire within him would erupt. He didn't dare to make any intimate gestures towards Cai Er. At this moment, he was like dry tinder soaked in oil, ready to burst into flames at any moment. Seeing Long HaoChen with his handsome face flushed and his gaze vacant, Cai Er just glanced at him sneakily, then quickly ran behind him. "No peeking." "Oh, okay." Long HaoChen reluctantly agreed, but the movement of his Adam's apple as he swallowed saliva gave him away. Cai Er's thighs were different from Yuan's. Long HaoChen was shocked to find that, An unexpected thought had popped into his mind. Yuan was undoubtedly beautiful. Her legs were long, straight, and shapely, with no flaws to be found, but when compared to Cai Er, they still fell short in many ways. Cai Er's legs had an extra radiance, and were accompanied by a faint fragrance of a human maiden. What's more, looking at her legs, even though Long HaoChen was embarrassed, he had no psychological burden. "Alright, let's go." Cai Er's gentle voice sounded from behind. Long HaoChen turned mechanically, only to see that Cai Er had already changed into her own black attire, concealing all the beauty from earlier. She also handed Long HaoChen his clothes. He heaved a sigh of relief, took his clothes and put them on. But when he touched Cai Er's fingertips, the burning passion in my heart could no longer be suppressed. And I pulled her into my embrace, kissing her lips. His hand accidentally found its way back to where it had been underwater earlier, and he carelessly squeezed a couple of times through our clothing. Son of Light isn't a saint. Even if he were, there are moments when he can't resist. Fortunately, there are still clothes in between. Don't judge too harshly, because Cai Er's injuries are quite severe, and Long HaoChen is just helping stabilize her for now. So even if his heart is still burning with desire, he can only indulge it slightly, then quickly take Cai Er back to the Dream Temple. "YaTing, please continue to treat Cai Er." Long HaoChen turned to YaTing, who was floating in the air, seemingly a little displeased by him leaving her earlier. At this moment, Cai Er is still very weak, and she hasn't noticed anything unusual about YaTing. Long HaoChen then turned to Zhang Fang and said, "Brother Zhang, could you please wait here for a moment? I need to send our companions away first. This method is a top secret for our team, so I kindly ask that you don't ask or talk about it to others." Zhang Fang nodded and smiled, saying, "Don't worry." As he spoke, he walked directly to Wang Yuan. "Knock me out." Wang Yuan was taken aback. Zhang Fang looked deeply into her eyes and said, "Only when you can't see, hear, or feel anything can a secret truly be kept, isn't that right?" Long HaoChen quickly added, "Brother Zhang, there's no need for that." Before he could finish his sentence, Wang Yuan had already slapped Zhang Fang on the neck, causing him to go limp, and with Wang Yuan's support, he fell to the ground. Lin Xin couldn't help but say, Yuan, you really don't hold back, do you?" Wang Yuan gave him a sideways glance and said, "Do you want to give it a try?" No need." Lin Xin quickly waved his hands in refusal. Wang Yuan glanced at the unconscious Zhang Fang and thought with a huff, "You disturbed my heart, serves you right." It's getting late, and Long HaoChen didn't want to delay any hashtag further, so he left Zhang Fang, Cai Er, and YaTing here. Activating the Eternal Melody, he transported his companions away. The injuries of Shima Xian and Chen Er have completely stabilized, but they are still in a deep slumber. Their injuries are actually not as severe as Cai Er's, and after continuous treatment, what they need is time for recovery. Golden light shimmered, and Long HaoChen reappeared in the Dream Temple. Sensing the change in light elements in the air, he revealed a hint of excitement in his eyes. After the awakening of the Scion of Light's constitution, his control over light elements had significantly improved, and even his manipulation of the Eternal Melody had become more delicate. Furthermore, he was now in the Dream Temple, not the Dream Paradise, so the back-and-forth teleportation didn't consume as much spiritual energy. They woke up Zhang Fang, and had YaTing returned to Long HaoChen's body. Then the three of them walked out of the Dream Temple. 3 days is neither long nor short, but both the Temple Alliance and the Demon Clan were getting anxious as they waited. After all, those who entered the Dream Temple this time were important figures for both sides. On the side of the Demon Clan, 10 young and powerful inheritors entered. On the Temple Alliance side, there were also 10 demon hunters, including Son of Light and Saintess of Reincarnation. It was no wonder that both sides were nervous when they saw figures emerging from the Green Temple. Both Ling Xiao and Huang Shou couldn't help but stand up, quickly approaching the lake shore, and the powerful individuals from both sides stood ready for confrontation. If anything were to change, a battle could erupt in an instant. Long HaoChen walked at the front, and when they saw him appear, Han Qian felt a sense of relief wash over him, and after subconsciously glancing at the Temple Knights, he calmly fixed his gaze on Long HaoChen, ready to defend against a sudden demon clan attack. Following closely behind Long HaoChen was Cai Er, and then Zhang Fang. Yin Shui Feng and Ling Xiao also breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. No matter what, the most important figures, Son of Light and Saintess of Reincarnation, had returned alive. Moreover, judging by their appearances, they must have gained something. However, Ling Xiao's expression quickly turned grim, because the ones who emerged from the Dream Temple were only the 3 of them. As for Huang Shou, the commander of the Black Dragon Guard on the Demon Clan side, his expression was even darker. Humans came out first, and for him, that was not good news at all. Soon, under Ling Xiao's personal guidance, Long HaoChen and the others returned to the Temple Alliance side. "The others haven't come out yet?" Ling Xiao asked Long HaoChen. Long HaoChen sighed and then lowered his head. He lowered his head slightly. His expression conveyed a lot to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's face immediately turned pale, These are the demon hunters who were named the Martial-level Demon Hunting Squad. This means that there's a risk of the 7 demon hunting squads falling apart. This responsibility will inevitably have to be shouldered by our priest temple. Long HaoChen looked coldly at the demon clan and said in a deep voice. The 10 people the demon clan sent in have all suppressed their cultivation, including some 8th rank experts. Their external spiritual energy levels reach up to 20,000. In this situation, we are simply not a match for them. What? Ling Xiao exclaimed in shock. On the other hand, Han Qian tugged on Long HaoChen's sleeve, indicating him not to continue speaking. Without a doubt, the priest temple will have to bear a significant responsibility this time, because this cooperation with the demon clan is being led by them. Long HaoChen turned to look at Han Qian, nodded to his master, indicating that he understood his meaning. Ling Zhao's breath was clearly unsteady, and the human powerhouses on the side of the Temple Alliance were also restless, ready to act at any moment. Huang Shou, on the other hand, remained fearless. With the Dragon Demon clan at his side, they believed that their overall strength far surpassed the humans in front of them. They were not afraid to take action. However, Huang Shou still tried to suppress the killing intent in his heart as much as possible, because he could clearly feel, for the past few days, there had been a powerful presence hidden among the enemy ranks. And a terrifying pressure was ready to strike him at any moment. It seemed that any slight movement on his part would result in a devastating blow. You see, Huang Shou is not just an ordinary 9th rank expert, his strength has reached the peak of the 9th rank 2nd rank, with a total spiritual energy amounting to nearly 300,000. Among the demon clan, he was one of the strongest. He was truly the right-hand man of the demon god emperor. Even he could feel immense pressure, indicating just how formidable the strength of this enemy was. With such a person present, if a battle were to break out, the losses for their demon clan would be considerable. After all, this was the territory of the humans. Long HaoChen loudly declared. However, the demon clan has also paid a significant price. Although the ones they sent in were all strong, they were also inheritors of some demon gods, with Bao, the leader, being the inheritor of the demon god emperor. They haven't come out unscathed either. As he spoke, he flicked his wrist, and a ball of dark green flames erupted in his palm. Clearly, this fire was not something that Long HaoChen, who had the light attribute, could release, and everyone stared intently at it. They saw a crown-shaped crystal appearing in his palm. It was precisely the crown devil crystal of the flame demon Xinshan that had been mentioned before. Seeing this devil crystal, the powerhouses on the Temple Alliance side couldn't help but exclaim in surprise, and at the same time, they affirmed the truth of what Long HaoChen had said earlier. On the other side, Huang Shou's face turned extremely unsightly. Of course, he recognized to whom this devil crystal belonged. Among the demon clan experts who entered Dream Paradise, the owner of this devil crystal was not the strongest. But their overall strength could still rank in the top 5, and yet it had fallen into Long HaoChen's hands. This was something he had never expected. Judging by Long HaoChen's appearance, he seemed to be around 20 years old. Humans and demons were different, and he could tell a person's approximate age with just a glance. A faint light flickered, and a cold, sharp light appeared in Long HaoChen's eyes as he gazed at Huang Shou without a hint of fear. He looked at Huang Shou on the opposite side without any sign of timidity. At least 3 of us have come out of Dream Paradise alive, but as for your side... At this point, he deliberately paused, even though Huang Shou remained composed. At this moment, his mind couldn't help but be in turmoil. His gaze turned towards the distant Dream Temple, and his face paled for a moment. You see, among those who entered were the inheritors of the top 4 demon gods in the demon clan. Their mission was to obtain the spirit furnace, and they also had a secret command from the demon god emperor. If all these inheritors were to fall in Dream Paradise, it would be an unprecedented blow to the demon clan. It might even shake the very foundations of the demon clan. Long HaoChen had already taken out a crown of inheritance. Who could say he didn't have more crowns of inheritance? Moreover, from his tone, listening to him, it was evident that Bao and the others were not in a good situation in Dream Paradise. Tell me, what happened to them? Huang Shou roared angrily, and a fierce aura suddenly surged, and his terrifying pressure reached its peak almost instantly. Even in a place like Dream Paradise, filled with the aura of nature, darkness seemed to spread at this moment. Ling Xiao snorted coldly. A golden light flashed in his hand. A milky white staff had already fallen into his grasp. A gentle golden light spread out, easily blocking the dense dark aura outside, and enveloping everyone on his side in a golden glow. He already understood Long HaoChen's actions to some extent. Fortunately, he remained silent, allowing Long HaoChen to act. On the side of the Temple Alliance, the strong individuals had also released their weapons, and were prepared to enter a battle state. The pressure brought by Huang Shou couldn't affect Long HaoChen much. Instead, he wore a faint smile on his face. Why should I tell you? Huang Shou looked at him coldly. If something happens to them, we will flatten Jinnan Pass, even if it means fighting to the death with your human race. His words were resolute, while he wasn't very familiar with other races. He had profound knowledge about the situation within the demonic dragon clan. Currently, In the demonic dragon clan, the contemporary demon god Emperor Fang Shou had only 2 children, Bao and Ling Xiao, both of whom had entered Dream Paradise this time. In his view, considering Bao's strength, there should be no issues in Dream Paradise, and sparing the humans was already showing mercy. This operation would undoubtedly yield significant gains. This is also the reason why the demons are willing to pay such a high price to obtain a place to enter Dream Paradise. However, he never expected such a bizarre turn of events. The human casualties were indeed severe, with only 3 survivors out of 10 who entered. Cai Er also seemed weakened, but more importantly, not a single member of their demon clan had emerged yet. The most significant disadvantage the demon clan faced in this operation was their lack of understanding of Dream Paradise. Their knowledge was based on the personal deductions of the demon god Emperor and some predictions from the star demon god. Nevertheless, neither Bao nor Ling Xiao had returned, and the daughter of the moon demon god was still inside. The situation with the moon demon god was different, as Yi secured a spot due to her connection with Bao. However, in the case of the demonic dragon clan, the current demon god Emperor, though not yet old, had almost reached a point where having children was impossible due to reduced fertility. In such circumstances, if both Ling Xiao and Bao fell in Dream Paradise, it would be a catastrophic disaster for the demonic dragon clan. Throughout their history, the clan had been led by successive demon god emperors, maintaining the purest bloodline. There had never been a situation where the bloodline was passed to another demon god emperor. Moreover, Bao had already built a certain reputation within the demonic dragon clan. If they both perished, the demon god emperor would undoubtedly be furious, and their commanding leader couldn't escape the blame. Therefore, Huang Shou's eyes turned slightly red at this point, and all his composure was abandoned due to the harsh reality. He was prepared to fight to the death here, unwilling to return, and face the wrath of the demon god emperor. A faint light flickered, and Long HaoChen's eyes revealed a cold, divine light. It's not impossible for you to know their whereabouts. I can tell you, not all of them have perished. There are some survivors. However, why should I share their situation with you? Long HaoChen spoke calmly, his face devoid of any extra expression. Nevertheless, after hearing his words, both Han Qian and Ling Xiao couldn't help but smile faintly. This child is truly too clever. They, of course, can see it too. If Huang Shou is pushed to the limit, he will definitely fight to the death here. The demons will certainly suffer heavy casualties, but will humans fare any better? Remember, this is not just about defending Jinan Pass with a natural barrier to rely on. Most of the demons who came this time are 9th-ranked powerhouses. Even if they've only just crossed the 9th rank threshold, and even without any weapon assistance, these demons are still not so easy to deal with. After all, they are led by the Black Dragon Guards, therefore. Neither the demons nor the humans want this battle. Humans don't want it either. Long HaoChen's words just now may seem simple, but they conveyed some information to Huang Shou. He clearly informed Huang Shou that, although the demons have suffered losses in Dream Paradise, it doesn't mean they are all dead. He just didn't specify their current situation. He gave Huang Shou some hope, and naturally, Huang Shou wouldn't fight recklessly, not revealing the true situation to gain more advantages from the demons. In this regard, it's something both Ling Xiao and Han Qian would certainly like to see. This time, they lost 7 outstanding young demon hunters, which is undoubtedly a significant blow to the Temple Alliance. Even if these 7 demon hunting squads are not completely disbanded, they will need to be rearranged.